Welcome to the Sixers Talk podcast, presented to you by Wilmington University. I'm Ben Berry. We have no Danny Palmels tonight, but I'm joined by the one, the only, Chevy from the Baseline Times. How you doing today, Chevy?
What's up, Mr. Berry? I'm glad to be here, especially tonight. The Sixers win.
They won. It seemed like they was trying to give it away for a second, but they came out on top. We're going to get into the game. Ben Simmons, what can happen for Game 7. Again, Chevy from the Baseline Times. You can check them out, baselinetimes.com, or the Shooter Pass podcast. They do some great work over there. But Game 6, the Sixers force a Game 7. The best two words of all the sports, they say. But
Right.
The Sixers had all of Philadelphia on the edge of their seats. Probably had all of the NBA just watch this game because it was some ups, some downs. No one knew what was going to happen. What did you see from the Sixers tonight?
Man, so definitely a lot of little flashes from Curry was great, man. The backcourt, I think the backcourt was the key. Maxey, Curry, but I think it's been like the formula. It's a winning formula, man. You know, Ben Simmons has obviously been under heat, and you know what? Come on, if you've been watching Sixers basketball, no, it's Simmons on the offensive end, and Simmons is the defensive anchor on the perimeter. So I think that favored them a little bit in the second half too, man. You know, and there's some very good defensive stops on Trey down in there, as much as they tried to. And I know he hit one on Maxey there with about 2 minutes left, but still, I'm
gonna start off positive and get to Ben later. We're gonna get to Ben later. People won't call me a hater. We're gonna start off positive here. Tyrese Maxey might have saved the Sixers season.
Yeah,
he came in. He provided a spark off the bench. He played 1 minute in Game 5. Played, I think, 29 tonight, 30 minutes in Game 6.
Yep.
16 points, 7 assists. He hit foul free throws in the clutch. He was setting people up. He was getting into the paint. He did everything Doc Rivers asked him to do. He did everything I hoped for him. I thought him being the primary ball handler after Ben Simmons in the playoffs was too much to ask for a rookie. I've been proven wrong. I'm all for him getting more minutes because he's exactly what the Sixers needed tonight.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. Absolutely. Yeah, Maxey, hands down. You're right. He, in a sense, saved the Sixers season. But I think that we're starting to see a theme of that too, like in this series, that bench scoring. Tonight. I know, looking at the Hawks, down, Bogdanovich. Not much, Gallinari. You had a little bit of, for them, but still, it was Philly. And I think if this game came down to straight defense, man, I mean, in my opinion, it's Philadelphia that I put my money on. So that's where they needed to win it.
Yeah, it was nice. You said the bench has been real hit or miss, more missed than not. But Shake had a big game in Game 2. Had a game where Furkan came up big off the bench. Matisse played incredible defense throughout the series. And tonight was Tyrese Maxey's night. So it was great. I still would like to see Doc cut down the rotation instead of using 10 players. It's the playoffs. You have an off night the following night of playing 10 minutes, and I didn't think Dwight Howard needed to play in the fourth quarter. But here we are. I would like to see when he brings the bench players into the game, maybe put Ben Simmons at the 5 instead of having Dwight out there so much because he's such a big minus. But we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Another thing. So I've been hard on Tobias Harris since he's gotten here. Before I moved back to Philly, when I was in DC, he had that dud in Game 5. He came out, he dropped 24 points tonight. Even though it was a rough start for the Sixers across the board. He got 2 early fouls. Ben Simmons got 2 early fouls. But Tobias picked it up. He hit free throws late in the game. He hit open shots. He created some shots. I think that's the bare minimum you could ask for a max player or a guy making close to max money. A lot better than the 4 points he had in Game 5.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, and here's the thing too. Everybody, again, we talked about the Sixers season a little bit here. That's a little bit of the offensive, supplemental of, all right, Ben, go do your thing as a playmaker, and we'll let Curry eat and let Tobias eat. And I think a little bit of scoring today was he was set up by his teammates a little bit more. There was one of Ben Simmons' first and second assists was to him in the corner. knocked down a corner three, I think in front of the Hawks bench. And then from there, that kind of set the tone for the rest of his night.
Yes. Oh, so nice. Yeah. Speaking of Seth, like he's been the second most reliable player for the Sixers in this series. Like his defense does get spotty at times, but it seemed like, especially in the first half, it seemed like he was the only one to come out and ball. Like, because Embiid was missing shots, Ben got in foul trouble and doesn't shoot. Tobias got in foul trouble. So it was nice to see the Sixers, I guess, get it together, especially coming out in the second half. And Seth really didn't fade away. He continued to make shots in the second half. I don't know what happened at halftime for Doc to light a fire under those guys' butts, but they came out in the second half down 4, and they got up, I think, up 12 or 14 at one point, but finished the quarter like still up 4 against the Hawks. So it was just a nice overall team. It's still things they need to work on. I don't want you guys to think, oh, Ben thinks the Sixers are fine. No, that's not what I'm saying. Still things for them to work on. But they left they left Atlanta tonight with the win, and they're headed back to Philly on Sunday for Game 7. That was all you could ask for. A lot better than, starting the off season early, whether they were going to Cancun or Rio or just hitting the golf course, because the beginning of the game, that's exactly how it looked.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting, man. And both these like Eastern Conference semifinals, like you'll see Brooklyn get off to like a slow start, but it becomes it comes a game by the second, third quarter. We're talking close game for some of these games here. So again, it's so cliche to say it, man. It's games and runs, and when you have like scorers on both ends. But I think defensively, like for Philly tonight, like for me, that's just set the tone defensively. That's what you've been good at all season long, and what favors you in this series too. So I'm kind of glad that in a sense, it came down to this. So, but I don't know, man. 2 blown leads in this series, Ben. I just ready to hit you up and be like, man, Ben. We brought you on the podcast before this season, man, and we hyped you up a little bit. We're like, man, we feel like the Sixers, they could be serious with this coaching change.
Man, well, I was on the Shooter Pass podcast. If you don't listen, go check it out. I was on before they hired Doc. It was like soon after they got swept out the playoffs last year, and I was down on the team. If you ever look at our comments or on YouTube or whatever, people just think I'm a hater and stuff. No, I'm a realist. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. Call things how it is. But Sixers win Game 6, Game 7 Sunday here in Philly. Even though they've had an amazing home record over the past 2 years at the Wells Fargo Center. The Hawks have won 2 games here in Philly so far this series. Let's not let them make it 3. But we'll get to more of that later. We're going to take this quick commercial break, come back, talk about everyone's favorite 6'10" point guard that they either love or hate, Ben Simmons. Sixers fans, once again, joined by Chevy from the Baseline Time Shooter Pass podcast. Follow him on Twitter, Baseline Time Chevy. I'm going to say his name for like the third time in 20 seconds. Chevy. Ben Simmons. There was a lot of flack about him after Game 5 here in Philly. You could see like posters for him put up all over the city, missing, haven't been seen all series of things like that because he disappeared in Game 5. Sixers come out with a win in Game 6, but wasn't really much better. What did you see from Ben Simmons tonight?
Oh, man, it was tough because you get 9 minutes of him in
half, right? And that's a little disappointing because now you're like, all right, so there's a high expectation from him, just the narratives out there that's on floating around Twitter. Dwight Howard talking about, people just need to respect him, blah, 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 but hey, you've been 5 years in the league and you don't have a jump shot. Like, it's got to be echoing in his mind, right? Then you get out there, you're playing 9 minutes. I think Ben did what he could have done with. And there was a couple fouls that were kind of questionable, especially I think that fifth foul was just tacky. It's like, come on, Ben, set the pick right. It's a very, critical time in the game. So I'm looking at those little ticky-tacky things. But beyond that, I mean, coming out of the second half, I saw him push the ball. A couple of those resulted, I believe, in some of those 3-point shots from Seth, and I believe maybe Maxey might have hit one. I'm not sure who it was, but yeah, I mean, those are some back to a couple of threes in a row there that just resulted because of Ben. And I think the trapping of Trae Young at the end there in the fourth quarter There's I think Seth poked the ball away, but it was both Ben and him playing some great defense. So I think he did what he could do with the minutes, the fouls, being cautious as possible, not to get out of the game, because defensively down the stretch they needed him against Trae Young.
I see you're taking the good cop role, and I guess I'll be Mr. Negative now.
I love Ben though.
Ben Simmons he's fast, he's strong, he's quick. He does nearly everything you want him to do on a basketball court except shoot. Cool. I'm a big believer, and he hasn't gotten any better since he got into the league. He's the same player he was 5 years ago when he's entered his rookie season. Getting those 2 fouls early, just when you're playing for your season, an elimination game, just unacceptable. And some of the fouls are definitely ticky-tacky, but some of them were just dumb. And then, pull up the box score. He's a -7. He has 6 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, played 25 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field. Tyrese Maxey played more minutes than him, the backup point guard, scored more points than him, had a better plus minus, 19 difference. I know Tyrese didn't have the assist that Ben had, but Ben Simmons is a max player. He sees himself as a superstar. He sees himself as a top 25 player in the league. You're not riding on the bench with 6 minutes left to go in the game.
Start
Even
college, build skills, and complete your degree with Wilmington University.
That's not happening.
100% online options.
We can't make the foul shots
affordable tuition makes WilmU work for you.
Work at it.
Learn more at
There's no evidence he's working on foul shots. There's no evidence that he'll work on foul shots going forward. Our very own John Clark from NBC Sports Philadelphia, 3.5 years ago, he posted on Twitter a clip of Ben Simmons after hack of Ben saying, "Hey, it's not going to be a thing because I'm going to get better or whatever." 3.5 years later, and okay, he was 2 of 4 from the free throw line tonight. Much better, but that just says how bad he was. 50% is much better. It's unacceptable, and thankfully for him, the Sixers won, because if they lost, I'm sure, if not this weekend, Monday morning, it would have been a lot of columns and think pieces about what is Ben Simmons' trade value, because a max player is not riding the bench because he's a liability on the offense end of the game, or liability out there at the end of the game.
Yeah. The thing is with Ben too, man, so we know there's no jump shot, right? So all right, let's work with what we got here. I'm a believer. Let's be optimistic, man, right? So, hey, look, 24 points from Seth Curry. Okay, great. Looking down the list, Maxey, 16 points. That's your backcourt there. Like you said, Shake had a good game in game 2. So it's like you're right. You've been doing this all season. Let's just keep it going, right? And you saw it like that in the first half of game 5, and it's just like, all right, let's go. That's it. Ben just locked down, the backcourt. You got Trae Young back there, But for long-term purposes, man, as a Sixer fan and thinking about this long-term, I get where you're coming from. Absolutely. But this is what's working for now. So you got to roll with it, because this is your window, This is your time. You don't know what's going to happen in the Brooklyn-Milwaukee game, but you'll find out Sunday. You'll know by Sunday. So this is your window. Let's do it.
It is the window, and I feel like Embiid, he has all the health issues, and I think it's very hard to believe he'll be playing this way in 8 years. I feel like their window is his window. Yeah. If he's healthy, he's playing maybe another 3, 4, 5 years. Because of the knee injuries and foot injuries with big men, is just unfortunate, but there's always something. And don't waste an MVP season like he's had this year.
Please don't.
His guys is not putting up in crunch time minutes. So, I know someone said the other day, yo, Daryl Morey should as soon as all season starts, Daryl Morey should reach out to Sam Presti and see what they can get for Ben Simmons. But that might have been tongue in cheek. If Ben's not willing to get better, a true commitment, I don't know, what's the future? Because you can't keep on giving someone a max contract. It's similar like Andrew Wiggins when he was in Minnesota. He said he would get better, and he never has.
Nope.
if Andrew Wiggins scoring 30 points in the game, you lost. So I just want to see progress, want to see improvement from him. And we were texting when the scuffle between John Collins and Embiid happened, and Embiid got him in the face. John Collins kicked him on the ground or whatever. Then they got up and got into each other's face. To me, that was just Joel Embiid's frustration boiling over from having a rough start to a game, not the best game, definitely from him this series. Just a frustration from him just having an MVP season and what's around him at times.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that was, I mean, for me, okay, so I'm a Magic fan, by the way, and I watched Dwight Howard just blossom, and to see a big man just get hacked, hit, I've seen it all, right? I've seen it in the playoffs. I've seen it, in games like these. And it's nothing has changed. Oh, wow, that was so nice. So we're about, a good 13 years almost later, right? So, it hasn't changed. And I think a little bit of that frustration came out too, the way that there's a couple of times too, man, even the first half, I felt there's a couple of times they could have had a call. And you saw Joel get a little upset, flail his arms a little bit. But nah, man, I love that kind of stuff. It's just the dramatics of the league there. And hey, you know what? Thank God they just didn't kick him out the game, man. It was just, all right, what?
That would have been so bad.
Do anything, let's keep it moving, guys. Calm down. Let's finish the game out.
But that would have been so bad, especially after Nikola Jokic was thrown out, and they were getting swept anyway. But it was like, he's throwing out the MVP, and one, I thought that was only a flagrant one, not a flagrant two.
Right.
So who knows? Embiid definitely had some legitimate arguments to his frustration tonight.
Yeah.
He got fouled on that lob to John Collins. He definitely got fouled, but man, he got posterized at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, he's like, he elbows off Collins, and then he's like holding his face. I'm like, all right, what's wrong with your face, Embiid? Come on, man. But yeah, and then I saw the replay. I'm like, okay, hold on, this man's holding on to his face. What's going on here, man? But no, that's the theatrics, man. That's what we watch the game for.
Okay, so we're going to take another quick commercial break. Me and Chevy will come back with what the Sixers need to do in Game 7 to advance, or they'll have a early offseason. Game 7, Sunday, here in Philadelphia, Sixers Hawks. We might have 3 Game 7s this weekend. The Clippers and Nuggets are playing right now as we record this. The Bucks and Nets are Saturday, Game 7. Game 7 here
Start
in Philadelphia.
college,
Sixers
build
Hawks
skills,
Sunday.
and complete your degree with
What do you
Wilmington
think the Sixers
University.
need to do to avoid
100%
going home early
online
in this
options
playoffs?
and
Everyone saw
affordable
them making a
tuition
deep
makes
playoff run.
WilmU work for you.
Yeah, man.
Learn more at
I'm
wilmu.edu.
a firm believer defensively, man, in Philadelphia this season. So, I think that's where it starts. I mean, it's so, again, and to you guys, it's cliche. It's so, it's always a thing. But to me, defense wins championships. I just want to see a little bit more. I think the trapping of Trae Young there, maybe not all game, but I think that's starting to work out. Trying to make some of the other guys step up. And I think in Philadelphia is going to be the right environment. Let's just come out. It's our home floor. Let's attack Trae Young early. Try to make some of the other guys beat us. Who knows? I think Bogdanovic's status. He didn't really get to finish the fourth quarter, I believe, or I don't even know how long he was out. Honestly, or in the second half. That's kind of a huge plus for Philadelphia. So one less shooter to worry about, right? But I obviously focus. I think you do make Trae Young beat you. Let's trap him. Let's trap him. Let's use the length and the size. Maxey's promising, right? And who knows? Shake Milton can have a big game shooting at home now. That's kind of things. But it's a make or break league, man. Sometimes. So that would be the biggest thing, man. Is if you could stop the other team from scoring the best as you can. You're number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference for a reason, Philadelphia. I believe in them as a defensive team, one of the better defensive teams, arguably with maybe Utah. I would say you guys in Utah deserve my respect, obviously having 2 of the, top candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. And we know Joel's going to be Joel. Again, guys, I think we know Ben Simmons doesn't have a jump shot. It's not going to happen overnight, man. Ben, just tell the people. Just tomorrow, Ben Simmons is not going to go to a gym, wake up, and just have Magic have a 3-point shot by Sunday. So roll with what you got, which is your defense. Let it fly.
It's not that, at least for me, it's not that he doesn't have a 3-point shot. It's that he'll have someone half his size guarding him, and he doesn't want to take it to the rack and things like that.
Right, yeah.
And we see why he's scared of going to the foul line. So, actually, I forgot to mention something on Ben, so I'll do that at the end of the segment. The Sixers need to play stellar defense, whether that's having Ben, Thibault, and Joel in the game at the same time, even though that doesn't do much. That's awful for spacing. 4, don't let the other guys beat you. I thoroughly believe before the series when I had Sixers in 5 that Trae Young was the only one that could beat the Sixers. And the thing is, even though I was wrong, I'm still a little right because the other guys get going when you leave them open and things like that. And the trapping tonight, they weren't hitting shots. John Collins was 2 of 8. Right. Bogdanovic 3 of 11. Herter turned it on late in the game, but force Trae to beat you. Don't let the other guys get easy baskets. Don't let them catch fire. And I'm shocked they've won 2 games shooting below 30% from beyond the arc. So if anyone's going to beat you, it needs to be Trae dropping 40-plus points. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Be nice. Joel Embiid take over. Tobias Harris chip in with 20. And the way this game started, I was ready for my Tobias slander on the spot, but he showed up. He showed up tonight. In 20. Ben, be aggressive. Furkan hit shots down. If George Hill plays, play a little better offense on the offensive end of the ball. Defensively, he's been superb. Give Tyrese Maxey more minutes. Sixers, they need to finish this out because Philadelphia Twitter, Sixers Twitter, they were on their edge. I know a bunch of guys, whether it was at the gym, on Instagram, Twitter, just talking, they were like, I'm not even watching the game tonight. So Sixers, don't let Trae beat you. Hit shots. Doc, draw up some plays so Tobias can just get going a little easier. Everything shouldn't be that hard when they're the superior team. So,
yeah. I mean, they've shown it too, man. They have in the series. I mean, they're obviously the superior team. I mean, a little bit more experience too. I mean, Joel's been here. Ben, obviously, you lost Ben last year. I think, defensively, you force the turnovers. You get points on turnovers. That was a big thing that I saw a little bit in the third quarter there that helped out Philadelphia kind of get out ahead of, about 10 points or whatever at first. And I think obviously the bench is a big deal. I think in any of these series, once you get to a game 7 though, man, it's the wear and tear of a series. Somebody's got to show up from that bench too. So I'm glad to see Maxey. Obviously should get the minutes like you mentioned. So that was a nice adjustment from Doc. I think George Hill, obviously, I saw him in there at some point. About 3 minutes remaining I think Ben Simmons was off the floor, but they went with like Tobias, Joel, George Hill, and Maxey on the floor, if I can remember correctly. And, I think that obviously you could trust George Hill out there, and that's the direction you want to go, man. Try to beat him with the defense. I know I've said it like 10 times, man, but I'm excited. It's a game 7, man, in the home stadium, in the home arena. Let's do it.
Yeah, check on me at 5 p.m. Sunday to see how I'm doing. Even you said George Hill, even though he's part of a infamous play in NBA history, the J.R. Smith rebound play. That just popped into my head when you said George Hill. Okay, before we get out of here, something I wanted to mention when we talked about Ben Simmons, but I forgot. And it's really a testament of the Curry brothers. Like, neither one were highly recruited coming out of high school. As we know, Steph went to Davidson. Seth was at Liberty before transferring to Duke. Seth had to grind to become a rotation player in the NBA. He's a starter, playing great in these playoffs, playing very well. And they didn't play high-level AAU ball, so I think that's just a testament of their dad, Del Curry, getting them ready.
Right.
There's no fear in them whatsoever. They embrace the moment. They both are liabilities on defense at times, but they don't shrink.
Exactly.
They don't succumb to the pressure. So the reason I wanted to bring that up in the Ben Simmons is this guy's half your size. What do we need to do to get you that mentality? Seth Curry, he might not be a killer like his brother or Dame Lillard, but he wants the ball. He wants to play big minutes. He's not backing down. Everything NBA teams told him, or even college teams told him, like he wasn't good enough, too small. He's worked hard to get better. He's worked, and he is a good player in this league right now. Ben Simmons has not gotten any better since he came into the league. I stand by that fact. So I want whatever Dell taught Seth and Steph to rub off on Ben Simmons. That's what I wanted to say before we get out of here.
Agree, man. And that's a perfect setting, man, for this weekend. It's Father's Day weekend, man. So I think it's perfect, dude. I agree 100%.
So this was Sixers Talk Podcast. Chevy, thanks for joining me. You're great, my man. You can check them out, baselinetimes.com, Shooter Pass Podcast. Follow him on Twitter, Baseline Time. Chevy, what's your IG handle for people to follow you?
It's at Baseline Chevy. You guys can check me out, man. Just on the Twitter, just talking the NBA, tweeting at Ben too, sometimes talking about the Sixers, man. But yeah, we enjoy you, Ben.
Yo,
and we're actually on a challenge together.
Oh yeah, we're in a Baseline Times challenge together. I'm winning. I don't know how that happened, but I assume that's because everyone's playoff bracket. We're doing a little playoff bracket. It's us two and two more podcasts, and it's I guess everyone's bracket just got blown up because that's the only way I can see myself winning still. Because I had some teams going further than they did.
Yeah, this year we're doing a little bit extra too, man. We wanted to get a little opportunity to break the stalemate of some of the scoring, because last year was just strictly based on the series and number of games. This year we're like, let's throw some player props and some random bonus points out there. But the play-in tournament was a cool opportunity because you know what, man, you went 5 for 6 out of the games. You guessed them all correctly. Everybody else is just kind of like guessing 50% every night for the play-in tournament. So you got out to a strong start and just stuck up there, and then I felt bad for you, man. So I gave you a personal player prop bonus points. So you won that one. So shout out to you. I
appreciate it. I missed the email, but like I had this. The Lakers going further in the playoffs than they did. I had the Warriors making it. That was the one playing game I got wrong.
Yeah,
and I had them beating. Who would they have played? The
Jazz. Yeah.
So little things like that I got wrong, but I had the Heat beating the Bucks in the first round. And I was wrong, I think, last year in a short turnaround, which is also why LeBron thinks we having all these injuries. I think that played a big reason. And, the Lakers and the Heat get knocked out in the first round. But, again, check them out. Shooter Pass Podcast, Baseline Times. Chevy, before we get out of here, anything else you want to say to the Sixers fans?
Oh, no, I mean, man, Philadelphia, bro. The Sixers fans, yeah, I'm an Embiid guy. I love Embiid. I want to see Ben Simmons progress too. And I'm a Magic fan, so a little bit of a Philly connection with Markelle Fultz. So Philly fans, if you want to see Markelle succeed, I want to see Ben succeed. Come on, let's cut a deal.
I don't know.
Let's kumbaya.
I don't think you realize what you just did, dropping the Markelle Fultz thing. Oh man, your time might become a dumpster fire. I like the
drama. Man. I like it.
This is the Sixers Talk Podcast presented to you by Wilmington University. Wilmu works for Chevy from Baseline Times. I'm Ben Berry. We'll catch you Sunday after Game 7.